Okay. This particular topic is very controversial because I hear and see a lot of people who try to make it seem like, oh, this person wasn't initiated here, they're not real. Oh, I got to go to Africa, they're not real. And all this other bullshit. First, let's start off with this. Ile Aye, the world. Clearly not limited in its location because it represents the world. How can an individual say, now, don't get me wrong, if you can go to Africa, get your IFA initiation, by all means, do your thing. But how can you say that people who get initiated into IFA, Palomayombe, Kimbanda, Voodoo, and so forth, are not authentic because they are not initiated while standing on the soil of the indigenous country where the tradition comes from? When in fact, as I said, Ifa is placed in the head of the Awo, of the Babalawo. Anywhere that the Babalawo goes, there is Ifa. The Babalawo can cast Ifa wherever he is. Has nothing to do with standing on the soil. Initiatic transference of Ashe is what actually takes place in an initiation ceremony. The transference of Ashe from Tata to Pino Nuevo, or from Tata to Ingeyu, or from Tata to Tatankisi Malongo, is an energy transference. The Tata does not have to be standing in Cuba for it to be officiated thoroughly. What has to happen is for the Tata to actually have the Ashe and the proper ritual for transferring the Ashe to the new Ahijado or Ahijado. Same with Kimbanda. You do not have to be in Brazil to connect with Eshu. This limits the spirits. You all don't even understand that you're taking gods and you're limiting them to a location. You mean to tell me Eshu and Pomojita are limited to Brazil? The only place I can get the Ashe to work with Eshu and Pomojita is if I go to Brazil. What about if a Tata came from Brazil and initiated me here? He's transferring the Ashe that he received through initiation through his lineage to me. Has nothing to do with whether or not I'm standing in Sao Paulo, or whether I'm standing in Rio de Janeiro, or whether I'm standing in Bahia. It does not matter. If I'm standing in Chicago, New York, if the Tata is with me and he carries the Ashe of Eshu, and he knows the ceremony and the ritual to transfer the Ashe of Eshu to me through Kimbanda initiation, and he does the initiation ceremony according to his tradition and his lineage, then for all intents and purposes, you are initiated and you are connected to the current of Eshu and Pomojita. Wherever there are 5 Babalawo, an initiation or ceremony of Ishefa can be performed. An awo can be born as long as there are 5 babalawos present. Doesn't matter if they're standing in Oyo State, Ogun State, Osogbo, Ota State, or any other state where Ifa is prevalent and where Ifa is known. By all means, of course, the environment of Nigeria is filled with awos, filled with babalawos, filled with achev Ifa. Yes, if you can get there to do it, by all means, do your thing. But don't say that a person is not initiated properly into Ifa or is a fake awo or fake babalawo because they were not initiated in Nigeria, when we have people in Cuba who are initiating people into the Lukumi version of Ifa. We have people in Brazil, in Candomblé, who are also initiating people into Ifa. Okay? And then people will say, what's the original? Ifa is Ifa. Orumila is Orumila. Whether he in Africa, whether he in Brazil, whether he in Cuba, whether he in America, Orumila is Orumila. Stop limiting Orumila to some location. If that's the case, everybody should just move to Nigeria. Gotta make sense. Shit ain't making sense. I laugh at people who tell me, oh, I went to Cuba and got initiated in Apollo. You did? How much did you pay? Did you receive this? Did you receive? Because don't think that just because you go into these countries that they won't scam you. That they won't take advantage of your ignorance and give you some half-ass shit. I know a girl who actually used to date. Went all the way to Oyo. Paid $5,000 to get initiated at Ianifa. And when I asked her, did he give you this? Did he give you that? Did he tell you this? Did he tell you that? Did you receive this? Did you receive that? No, 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 and no all across the board. This girl flew all the way, got malaria shots, flew all the way across the motherfucking world and still did not get what she was supposed to get. She didn't even get, I got initiated here in America by 5 Nigerian babalawos who built a grove and manifested Nigeria here in America. Masters. Okay? Because of my circumstances, my situations, I couldn't travel abroad at the time. So we had to do it that way. Every Orisha I've ever birthed is alive. This girl flew all the way across the world, did all of that. Did all of that. Didn't receive her Eshu or Dara. That's the only spirit you're really supposed to receive through Ifa initiation. If you get initiated in Ifa and you do not take home your Eshu or Dara, they shortchanged you. If you get initiated into Ifa and you do not receive the verses, or even a hand Ifa, and you do not receive the verses to call your Ifa, when you make Oshe, they shortchanged you. Okay? It shortchanged you. If you get the hand Ifa and you do not know which Orisha is your guardian, they shortchange you. All of these information, all of the information that comes through these particular initiation ceremonies is usually gathered from 5 different babalawos. Even when your Odu falls on the mats, the babalawo will begin to give messages on your Odu. And then he will contact 5 or maybe 2 or 3 other babalawo to also give messages on that particular Odu. Do you need to be fluent in any of the native languages in order to practice the traditions? This is another fallacy. How do I know? because I've been doing it for the last 15 years. Actively practicing for other people for the last 10 years. What you need to know. You do not need to be fluent in Yoruba to practice IFA. You need to study and learn the Orikis. You need to learn as many Odu verses as you possibly can. You do not need to know all 256 Odu and all of their verses to be a qualified Babalao. That is a lie. I still know seasoned Babalao people in Nigeria to this day who still read from books talking about the Odu and all of that. The human mind is the human mind. Some people can't remember all of that. That means that they should not have the blessings of Ifa because their memory fails them to remember all 256 Odu and all of the verses. Stop. Alexa, stop. So, it has to make sense. It has to make sense from a pragmatic and practical perspective. Like I said, I know a woman who went all the way to Oyo State to get initiated, and she did not receive everything that she was supposed to receive with a full Ifa initiation. She did not. She came back empty-handed with nothing but a bald head. These are the things that are considered gatekeeping tactics in the community. Only thing you need to know is how to pray and how to invoke or evoke the Orisha through reciting Oriki, through reciting Iwori, through reciting Ifa verse. This is what you need to know for the most part when just approaching Ifa. Now, everything else, all of the tricks, the secrets, the mysteries, and all that, you can learn that along the way. You can learn that from your Oluwo. You can learn that from the community by communicating and networking and just politicking and, you know, exchanging knowledge with different awos and babalaos and things of that nature. You can learn different things. But in order for you to practice, when you go before your Ifa, you go before the Orisha, at least know the Oriki. Know how to pronounce the Oriki in Yoruba. Okay? You do not need to know every pataki and every story and all that. You don't need to. It's good if you want to study it 24 hours a day and know as many patakis as you can. By all means, do what you do. But I'm saying in order to be a functional devotee, an initiate of Ifa, you do not need to be fluent in Yoruba. You do not need to be fluent in Spanish to practice Palo Mayombe. If you know the mambos and the greetings and the Palo lingo to go before an Nganga and to speak to an Nganga, that's all you need to know. You don't need to be fluent in Spanish to do that. Same with Kimbanda. You do not need to be fluent in Portuguese in order to practice Kimbanda. All you need to know are the prayers in Portuguese that you say in front of the Nganga or the Asentimiento when you're approaching Eshu and Pombogira. Same with Voodoo. You do not need to be fluent in Haitian Creole in order to practice Haitian Voodoo. If you know the prayers in Creole, you know the songs in Creole, to approach the Loa and to call the Loa, the particular Loa that is working with you or that you are working with, that is all you need to know. You do not need to be fluent in these languages. The only reason you want to be fluent in the languages is so you can speak to people who do not speak English and you could possibly learn more. The more fluent you are, of course, the more you will learn, because there are many people in each diaspora of these African traditional religious communities that speak only that language, and they retain a lot of the knowledge. So if you are, the more fluent you are, the more you will learn from these people. But you do not have to be fluent. If you are part of a Tirero, or you are part of a Monanzo Congo, or you are part of a Ile, okay? If you are part of these things these houses, and there are specific prayers, songs, and things of that nature that are spoken in that particular house, that is what you are obligated to learn. Do not make them think that you are less of an initiate or a devotee because you do not speak fluently the native language. I have proven this theory wrong for the last 10 years. Everybody said, well, oh, Tata doesn't speak. He doesn't speak Spanish. But then when they come to my house and we begin to do a Palo Mayombe ceremony, they hear me speak the prayers of Palo Mayombe and the mambos as I was taught in Mamunanzo Congo. Or when they come for Kimbanda, they hear me greet my asentimientos and my gangas in the Congo and Angolan tongue, combined with Portuguese, of course, of Kimbanda, and so forth and so on. Now, can I go have a full-blown conversation with another person speaking Portuguese in Portuguese? No. Can I go before Eshu Menote? Can I go before Eshu Tiriri? Can I go before different Eshu and Pomojira and be able to say the invocation, the prayer, to be able to call that particular Eshu? Yes. Do not let them fool you into thinking that you have to be fluent in these languages in order for you to be able to practice these traditions efficiently. They are lying to you. Okay? Just letting you know. Speaking from a nigga who actually do this shit. And been doing this shit. I ain't no fly by night, just came back last year. Like, I literally been on this YouTube for 10 years. Under one name or another. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. I hope this video was very informative to the extent that it just awakened you and opened you up to something, a realization of something. I pray that, you know, that this video reaches everyone in good spirits. Everybody has an open mind. And that it brought a lot of value to your understanding of these traditions. Okay? And please, for the ancestors, for your ancestors, for my ancestors, make sure you click the like button and subscribe. And if you're serious about getting some divination done in any one of these traditions that I've mentioned, please click the link in the description of the video. Book a consultation with me today. I'll be happy to assist you and guide you on your journey and help you so that you do not make the same mistakes that me and many others have made in venturing into these practices. All right? Peace.